Welcome everybody to Bugbears and Brews. My name's Brian and I'm home with my daughter today since she's sick, and I wasn't planning on doing any videos since she's kind of top priority. When she's taking a nap right now, and there was a knock on the door, and lo and behold, I completely forgot this was coming in the mail. My Tales from the Yawning Portal came in the mail. I have not even cracked this yet, so I figured it'd be fun to just take a look at it and see what all's in here. I did thumb through it for 2 or 3 seconds at the comic book shop last week when Mark picked it up, but nothing in detail. So if you're not familiar with the book, it is a new set of redone mega dungeons from Wizards of the Coast. So these are dungeons that are been known for their deadliness. So there's 7 adventures. Looking here on the back, we have Against the Giants, Dead and Thay, the Forge of Fury, the Hidden Shrine of Tomachin, I'm sure I butchered that, the Sunless Citadel, Tomb of Horrors, and White Plume Mountain. I've only ran one of these, which was Dead and Thay, and that was done with the D&D Next rules. I really like that one. It was the way we did it was a multi-table event there, so we had people kind of changing who was at which party throughout the series. But it was a little convoluted since doing so, you had to kind of mesh the story between DMs at the end of each session. The other ones I haven't read or don't know much about. Tomb of Horrors, I've heard the horror stories about how difficult it is, but personally, I've never ran it. Like I said, I've read comics on it. What was it? The Table Titans. There's a little talk about Tomb of Horrors there. Against the Giants, I know that's a throwback. That is like the original one that the Storm King Thunder kind of spans off of. Sadly, I can't really read these too much because I have a couple people at the table that said, express interest in after we wrap up Storm King Thunder or maybe taking a break, and they wanted to run one of these themselves. So I don't want to read too many of them. The only one I think I'm going to read at first is the Dead and Thay, just because I did read already and have ran the D&D Next version. And the nice thing with doing the D&D Next version that I had previously is I have that big poster for the dungeon map. So that's going to be really nice. I actually broke that out yesterday or the last week when I saw that Dead and Thay was in here. And I remembered about it. And then I have like the cards for the NPCs. I have little handout maps. I have a lot of cool stuff for Dead and Thay. So that one might be one worth revisiting, especially to see how the rules were solidified in the 5th edition final version versus how it was in the D&D Next series. So the book itself, opening it up. Oh, I love opening books for the first time. 248 pages, pretty respectable. Looks like there's a bestiary in the back. There's some new magic item appendix. Not that much though, only 2 pages of new magic items. Creatures, we have about 18 pages of creatures. Some nice artwork in here. Oh, Thane Apprentice, this guy here. I remember those guys from Dead and Thay. Sea Lion looks rather wicked. I'm not sure how much art I can show off here, so I'm not going to show a bunch of the art. I'm sorry there. So I don't want to get in trouble. I don't know the rules of posting books and that kind of stuff there. Looking at the adventures, give you a breakdown of how many pages. Skip past there. Let's see here. Sunless Citadel, not too many. Looks to be about 23 pages. The Forge of Fury, don't know that one at all. I won't even attempt to guess what it is all about. Looks to be about 27. There might be, that's not including splash art and those kinds of things. I'm going from the chapter start to the start of the next chapter. This Hidden Shrine of Tamaochin. Once again, I'm sure I butchered that. That looks to be... I wonder if there's a misprint, because it says it starts on page 61, Running the Adventure starts on page 61, and then the next entry is page 61. So there's only 3 entries for it, but it's all on page 61. And then from there, the next jump is page 95. So that's, what, 34 pages there. White Plume Mountain looks to be really short, 22 pages. Dead and Thay looks to be so far the biggest one of them all, starting at page 109, going to 164 or so, right around there. So that's like 54 pages, which that matches up pretty closely to what the D&D Next version was. I don't remember the exact page count on that. It'd be, like I said, what I want to do when I read this one is get out my old D&D Next copy of it and just kind of take a look back and forth through. I think that's going to be a lot of fun. Maybe I'll do a video of the things that have changed. Who knows? Against the Giants looks to be about 25-ish pages, give or take. Tomb of Horrors, much smaller than I expected from what I understand of Tomb of Horrors. Tomb of Horrors is, well, it looks like 17 pages. So most of these look like they're going to be pretty short. Dead and Thay is definitely the largest, hitting above the 50 mark there. We then have some creatures, like I mentioned there. Probably looks to be about 25, 30 different creatures. All sorts of maps. The nice thing is they do include player maps here that I'm seeing. So they have the Doom Vault, which is the looking at the Dead and Thay. They have the big map of that there, which is probably, knowing the map, it's probably a single page. If I go to it, let's see here. We'll do the player version, 117. So here's our lovely map of the Doom Vault. And I'm sorry, I'm not really good at doing the camera backwards. It looks to be about the same of what was in the handouts that I had here. So that's pretty interesting. Doesn't look like they really changed dungeon layouts. So that'll be interesting. Artwork, amazing, like I'd expect from any Wizard of the Coast book. That's one. Let's be honest here. That's part of the reason we get these books, is to have that artwork. Lovely. Oh man, sorry. I really wish I knew how much I could show of the book without getting in trouble. Who knows? Maybe I'll reach out to some of my buddies that are a bit more YouTube savvy and see what they understand. You know, what they're allowed to show. You know, give me some advice on how much I could show, if anything. Who knows? Yeah, really looking forward to diving into this. Man, just looking. I just thumbed back open and I happened to hit on part of Dead and Thay, and I see that map, and it just brings back the thoughts of running that encounter. That's specific to this map. I see it, and it's the map for the final encounter, and it's just trying to remember how we did that was a lot of fun. I'm not going to ruin it for anybody, because like I said, the final encounter on it is definitely a different type of encounter that is just very interesting. I really want to take a look at the other ones. That's kind of cool, looking at the start here. Just opening up the Against the Giants, there's a little about the original section. So it tells you a bit about the original. Doesn't mention things that they changed, though, from what it sounds like. So I'm curious if they actually called the original Dead and Thay for D&D Next. No, it just talks about it's made for the Organized Play Encounters program, which is where we ran it, was with the Encounters. So I can't really say whether or not I suggest getting this book, you know, because I just literally opened it up just a few minutes ago, right? However, so far I'm really giddy for it. I really wish I could dive into these little mini dungeons. I don't want to call them mini dungeons. They're mega dungeons for the most part, from what I understand. Maybe I'll talk to the guys that were interested in running this and see what ones they were planning on running, if any, and then jump into, you know, reading out the ones that they're not running. So really excited. Like I said, maybe I'll do a difference between the old Dead and Thay versus the new one. I really wish I had my Dead and Thay materials out from my closet. However, I could really go grab them, but daughter's sleeping in the room next to ours, and our closet's butt up, and don't want to wake up a sleeping sick child. So once again, Tales from the Yawning Portal. Oh, of course, now the camera really brightens up. I should have just kept it here the whole time, huh? Tales from the Yawning Portal. Seems like it's going to be a pretty worthy buy. I will say as much as I love supporting the local comic book shop that we play at Fun for All, most of the books I tend to buy off of Amazon, just because this one off of Amazon was like 25 or something like that. Is really a far difference than the standard retail price. Retail price is $49.99. I think I got it off of Amazon pre-order $23 or $25. The lowest I've seen of any of the D&D books on pre-order. So half price. I can't justify buying it at the comic book shop. I buy my other I buy my actual comics at the comic book shop, so I support them there. I buy all my goodies when I do the encounters. So I buy my water, and if I get any sort of munchies, I always buy those there. So it sucks that I don't quite support them in the idea of buying the books there. However, this case, it's a half off. It's kind of a no-brainer for me, sadly. So like I said, gladly check it out. I can't wait to dive into this one. Yeah, talk to you later, guys.